Uh, I haven't talked to my dad on the phone I haven't talked to my dad in person since I was in eighth grade. He's
Why
on
is
my
that?
Facebook.
Why is that?
I don't know. He left. He got remarried. We saw him on the weekends for a little while, and then he just disappeared. It just
So do you know who you are?
uh, other than those words, no. I guess I don't.
And what is it like not knowing who you are? Sean, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you, sir. How are you doing today, Jesse?
All this well, Sean. Thank you.
Hey, Jesse, I had a question. I've been doing the silent prayer. I've been doing a lot of, I would say, cross-referencing mentally with my own interpretations or readings or understandings of the Bible. And when it came to the ego, I thought about, the knowledge of good and evil. And I thought, the ego is evil. Is it possible that the knowledge from the tree of good and evil, way back in the days of Adam, if that was sort of the installation process of us sort of inheriting that evil, right? Because we didn't know we were naked and all of that. I was wondering what your thoughts were on that.
No, the knowledge of good and evil is evil. And we inherited evil nature because, well, the men got it because Adam listened to the woman, and the woman got it because Eve listened to the serpent. Had Adam not listened to the woman, we would still have the nature of the father.
Gotcha. So what would you say the ego is?
Is the nature of the devil is evil.
It's just, is it more spiritual, you think?
Absolutely. And it's
Gotcha.
intellectual. All intellectual, well, all people with anger are evil, but the intellectual people are even worse because they think that they're God.
Amen to that.
But
Yeah,
it
that's
is
been my
spiritual.
experience too. Yeah, because when you digest a lot of sermons or Christian teaching or any religious teaching, it's always from some sort of egomaniacal person, essentially, right?
I'm sorry?
Like when like a lot of Bible teachers, they sort of profess themselves, they put their piety on display, and that's
Bibles,
very egocentric.
Bible teachers are enemies of God. They hate God.
Wow. Yeah, I'm starting to come to that conclusion too, Jesse, and that's through kind of stumbling upon your teachings or your
Have
show,
you
etc.
forgiven your mother?
Oh, man, I tried that, Jesse. That was wow. Yeah, that was interesting. I followed your process. I tried to call her and talk to her. She lives out of state. I'm from Massachusetts originally, and that's where she lives. But she wouldn't talk on the phone at length with me. Like when it got to anything that was real deep, she always keeps things superficial. I've always been the black sheep of the family or whatever the case is. She never really liked me because I always liked the truth. I don't hate her for that. That's just kind of been the way it is. And I told her that. I just said, hey, look, I forgive you, and I laid it out. And she said she didn't need to apologize for anything. And then she started to insult me. I was like, oh, okay.
And so were you able to forgive her?
Internally, yes. And I professed the words, to her.
Confess what words?
And just that I forgave her for berating my father, for making him weak. Yeah.
And
that was certainly an experience.
And did you forgive your father for not protecting you from her?
I haven't talked to my dad on the phone I haven't talked to my dad in person since I was in eighth grade.
Why
He's
is
on my
that?
Facebook.
Why is that?
I don't know. He left. He got remarried. We saw him on the weekends for a little while, and then he just disappeared. It just, in the ethereal, he just slipped away. He called me before I went in the military to say, hey, good luck or whatever.
Do you know how to get him?
What's that?
You said then he tried what?
He tried to kind of reach out to me and my brothers, 10, 11 years ago, actually about 13 years ago, which, it had been, 20 plus years since I'd seen him. And, he apologized. He's like, hey, I wish I had done more. And that was just about it. That, the conversations never really went anywhere. I tried to talk to him about hey, what's his advice on this career path and try to build that relationship. But he's always been very distant, and he it just never went anywhere.
And so why haven't you reached out to him to forgive him now that you understand?
I don't have his phone number. The last time I tried to talk to him or connect with him, via the way that only way I have, which is through, social media. I wished him a happy Father's Day, and all he sent me back was like the thumbs up emoji. And I was like, okay, this is just, what's in it for me, sort of thing.
And so why have you reached out to him to forgive him now that you understand? Hold that thought. Let me take a quick break. I did not hear the music. Sorry about that.
Sure.
And so, Sean, why haven't you contacted your father now that you understand?
I guess just, I don't have a good answer for that. Not that exists anyways, but the thing I was leaning on, I guess, or what I sort of just summed it up as, is every contact and every experience I've had with him has been sort of very nonchalant and, didn't really go anywhere.
But you got a response. You got a response from him when you wish him happy birthday. He gave you the thumbs up. So why haven't you tried to reach him through that way? Going through that.
I don't have I don't have a legit answer for that as to why not. I guess I was a little afraid.
Of what?
Probably the rejection, I guess, more than anything, considering what happened with the mother. Even though my understanding of what you preach in terms of that is that by doing that, it releases him, and in a way, because my grandmother,
it doesn't release him; it releases you.
True. So my question there is, like, when you do things like that, is there like weird thoughts start to, obviously you watch your thoughts, right? So they pass through, and that thought comes in, like the guilt thought, where it's like, hey, if you're doing it for yourself, you're greedy. Like that's obviously an evil thought, and that's not necessarily stopping me from contacting him. My question is on that, or my reason why I've paused on that and not calling or reached out to him, is because I don't know that it's good for me, like, to even bother with him, like, in that regard. Not that I don't loathe him, I don't hate him. I totally understand why he did what he did. My mom obviously, berated him, et cetera, emasculated him, all of these things. And I understand that. I don't have I guess, it's just dawning on me right now that you asked that question. Or because, he maybe he doesn't even know why he is the way he is. So would that be like, in essence, shedding light to him, like giving him light?
Do you love your father?
I can't say I love him. I don't even know him.
And so how do you expect to have peace on earth or return to God if you refuse to return to your earthly father?
I don't have a good answer for that. I love my heavenly Father. I love Christ.
How can you love your Christ? Is Christ your heavenly Father?
Well, no. He's my heavenly brother, I suppose.
Why do you say I love Christ, my heavenly Father?
Because I do subscribe, or maybe perhaps loosely, to the Trinity, and that he's the triune God, and he's the direct representation of God in the flesh.
Where you get that from?
Lots of your very standard, typical Bible-thumping Christian teachings.
Mine?
What's that?
You said lots of the Bible-thumping teaching thing?
Yeah,
And
correct.
why did you believe it? You never read it? You never seen it?
No, I read it.
You never read anything about the Trinity?
I have.
No, you haven't.
I mean, I have.
Where?
The Bible. Well, the Bible doesn't necessarily represent, but
where in the Bible have you read anything about the Trinity?
Jesus says that he is I am, so therefore he professes divinity there when he's speaking to the apostles.
He never said nothing about divinity.
But he said he is I am.
And so how did you put divinity in that because he said I am?
Because the I am precedes everything. Therefore,
and so that's how you put divinity?
It's akin to divinity. It's something I can't necessarily describe.
Let's go back to. So you say you love Jesus, right?
Yes, sir.
And how can you love Jesus and hate your father?
I don't hate my father.
You don't love him. If you don't love him, you hate him.
Well, that's That's there's shades of truth there. I'm not disagreeing with you entirely there, but I believe hate. Maybe my definition of hate is to actively despise or to wish ill will and that sort of thing.
You're angry at him, and anger is hatred.
I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm just.
Then why don't you forgive him? Why don't you forgive him?
I think I will. I think I will.
No, why haven't you? Why do you think you love Jesus, but you don't love your earthly father? You have not forgiven him, because if you loved him, you would have forgiven him.
I do forgive him. I haven't professed it out loud, but my understanding of forgiveness, as to loosely quote Christ, is that nobody goes to the Father through the Son, but nobody goes through the Father without repenting and asking for forgiveness.
You never see anywhere where it said asking. It said go and forgive.
But it also says at the I can't remember if it's the end of Mark or it might even be at the end of John, where he says to the apostles, if you don't forgive people, then they're not forgiven.
And so you're not forgiven because you have not forgiven your earthly father, and yet you claim you love Jesus.
No. So Jesse, if you rewind back to like when we first started talking about my dad, he asked for forgiveness, and I already forgiven him.
You have not forgiven your earthly father. That's why you have not contacted him.
Possibly that's true.
And your father cannot ask you for forgive, and you forgive. You can't forgive. Only God forgive.
So if only God forgives, how do I forgive if I'm not God?
You forgive by admitting you're wrong for hating him, being angry at him. Anger is hatred. You can call it resentment. You can call it hatred. You can call it's the same evil spirit.
But
and so
I don't feel angry or resentful.
You forgive
I don't feel angry or resentful.
Then why haven't you contacted him then?
Because every contact I've had with him has been superficial, and it doesn't seem like, it seems to be honoring
what that
his
have to do
request
with you? Are you superficial about forgiving him?
No.
Then why haven't you contacted him?
Because he apologized a long time ago.
He did, but not you.
So what am I apologizing for?
For holding anything against him.
But I haven't.
You say you feel you have a fear of rejection, and that's why you haven't contacted him.
Well, the fear of rejection is based on what happened with my mom.
But you say you had that with your father, too. That's why you have not contacted me. You said.
Right, correct. No, it's correct. I have a fear of the rejection, but I also have a fear that, like, it might, why bother him? Like, if he doesn't want to be bothered, like, I guess that's the question.
Did he say he didn't want to be bothered?
No, he didn't say
that. Then how you come up with that idea then?
Based on the way he acts, etc.
What that have to do with you?
It just has to do with him, I guess.
What does that have to do with you? You got to live your life. You are trying to come out of hell. Why are you letting his action keep you in hell?
I don't have a good. That's a good question. I don't think I should do that.
Why are you doing it?
I don't think I don't know. It's a good. I guess I'm used to hell, and maybe it was comfortable for me.
Why do you lie to yourself and say you love Jesus when you don't love your earthly father?
I didn't look at it as lying. I didn't look at it that way.
Where did you look at it as?
I looked at it as being more like Jesus because I wasn't.
You're nothing like Jesus. How you gonna be more like Jesus? Jesus never held anything against anyone.
Right. I didn't view my actions as holding anything against him, I guess.
Oh, I see. I understand that. Go ahead.
No, that's it.
I would ask this. You say you feel he might reject you, feeling of fear of rejection, right?
Yeah.
And describe the you that fear rejection. Tell me what that person looked like.
It looks like an isolated kid that, just a child, the inner child that didn't feel love, that wasn't accepted, that was rejected, and building myself up as to what I thought was a man going through life.
How old are you?
I thought I had 45.
So you still haven't described the person that you describe the emotional state, the psychological.
Correct, that's true.
But who is the person? Who are you?
I'm just a man that lives alone. Lives alone with his dog and just trying to get closer to Christ. That's seeking the truth. That's the only way I can define myself at this moment, Jesse.
So do you know who you are?
Other than those words, no. I guess I don't.
And what is it like not knowing who you are? Because all you've named so far are emotional stuff.
Yeah.
And you're not your emotions. Who are you?
A person, a person who doesn't know who he is, maybe.
Do you want to know who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that question you asked earlier, and maybe it was a biblical question I heard when I was on hold, was, are you the action, right? Or could you, I don't want to butcher it. Could you ask that question?
Which are you most interested in? Being something or doing something?
Yeah. I live my life entirely with the goal of being something. And now I want to do something, and I don't know what to do.
And then what are you?
If you ask me that question, the only response I have is I want to be a truth seeker. I want to help people find the truth. I want to.
How are you going to help somebody find the truth if you haven't found it?
Yeah, so I don't have an answer for that.
So why do you want for that then, and you don't even know what it is yourself? Why are you wanting to help somebody?
Because I believe it's good.
But why do you believe that? You don't even know what it is. How you know it's good?
Because I know it's not evil. I know that sounds like a weird answer, but
you know what is not evil?
The idea of helping people, the idea of finding the truth. No
the idea of helping people is evil. It's coming from you, and you're evil. How can a good idea come from an evil idea?
But that's
evil mind.
precepts that I'm evil for, and if I was to reverse that, and this isn't, by the way, I'm not trying to make this like, agitation or anything, but like, I believe what you're doing is good, and I believe that you're helping people.
But I'm not doing anything, and I'm not helping people.
You don't think so?
No, not at all.
Huh. But you're shedding light on lots of truth. You're getting a lot deep to a lot of people.
I'm sitting here, and words are coming out of my mouth, but it's not me at all. I have nothing to do with it.
Huh.
I still have to pray.
Where the ego death leads you?
I'm sorry?
So that's where the ego death leads you? No, it's an honest question. Like, is that where it leads you? Like, if you completely finalize that ego death, you completely just kill self.
And you return to the Father. Hey, let's not go there yet, because you're too intellectual.
Man.
And the devil will use this against you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. But I want to know the truth. Can you help me with that?
Yeah, I can. The truth is, you got to forgive your father and your mother. And you say you've gone and forgiven your mother. You got to forgive your father. If you don't forgive your earthly father, you will never know the truth.
Roger that. Roger that, Jesse.
And stop worshiping the devil and letting the devil talk you out of contacting your father unless he refuses to respond. If he refuses to respond, there's nothing you can do. But you got to apologize to your father and your mother for resenting them. They have the same psychological, spiritual issue that you're having because your issues came from your mother. And you're thinking like her, you feel like her, that will make you understand that she could not help herself, just as you can't help yourself, and your father could not help himself. So if you want to know the truth, you're going to have to apologize for resenting them, being angry at them, so God can turn the light on inside of you.
Roger that. Copy that, Jesse. Copy that.
Are you doing the silent prayer?
I am. I am. The first couple of times it was a little intense because it was like you're watching those thoughts and they just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. You just wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, finish that point.
Oh yeah, and then you start to. There's that part of you that starts to think like, or starts to kind of anticipate it. And then like it got to the point where I could only get into the spot where I wasn't thinking when I was watching your YouTube clip. And it's like,
but don't try not to think. You just watch and let.
Yes, correct. That's
let God take over the thinking part. He'll take that away from you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So do the silent prayer. Are you doing it morning and night?
No, I haven't been habitual about it.
Amazing. So you're not ready to come out of your hell yet.
I feel like I'm ready now.
You have a family?
I do not. Recently divorced. I have a dog.
You don't have any children?
No, sir.
So you divorced your wife and married a dog?
No, sir. She divorced me, and I got to keep the dog.
Oh, why? Are you able to say why she divorced you?
God, I'm willing to share it. I don't know how much
No,
time you
don't
got.
share your personal business if you don't want to. But I can
No,
tell
I'm
you
not
why
scared.
already.
I'm not scared.
I can tell you why.
Go ahead.
Beta.
You think so?
You couldn't have her. You became the boy and she became the mama.
Perhaps there's some shade to that. I think there's some struggles with alcohol involved in that. And I don't mean to insult her by saying that or to gossip, but I had a hard time with her not being able to keep her word. That's why I left the state. She was supposed to come with me, but she couldn't surrender her family, I guess. I don't know if her family talked her out of it or what.
Well, I'm glad you didn't have any children with her.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to take that as an insult or words of encouragement, Jesse.
No, I'm glad you didn't have any children with her because you would be suffering pain because she would keep your children away from you.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Possible, I don't know.
But listen, whatever reason you left, don't look at her anymore. Look at yourself. Because she was not your problem. You were your own problem. She's her problem. And so put your eyes on you. Do the silent prayer. Forgive your mother and father. And God will take over. It's going to be amazing for you, all right?
All right. So back to one thing real quick. You had said that the words just come through you. You kind of spoke on that earlier, and then you kind of stopped me from being intellectual. Is that? Can you dig in on that a little bit? Because is that sort of what happens when you sort of meet that goal of the ego death?
I don't.
All right.
I do want to tell you this, but I don't want you to get into that because Satan will use that against you. He will make you think that you're doing something that you're not, and it's nothing like what I'm telling. It's totally what's happening, but it's not like what you think. And but if you stay with the prayer and watch those thoughts, God will take over your thinking.
Fair enough.
He will control.
Fair enough. Can I tell you?
He will control you.
Fair enough. Hey, can I tell you a bad joke?
Yeah.
All right. Who's the Antichrist?
Hake.
Sorry, Hake. I was gonna say AI, and then who invented AI and the internet? Al Gore. How do you know that's true? Algorithm. See, that's a terrible joke. That's awful.
Yeah, it is. What the? But nice try.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sean. Call me again.
All right. We'll do. Bye-bye.
All right, buddy.